Good evening and very warm welcome to Meaningful Monday. It's a pleasure and an honor to have so many people on tonight and still more joining right now as we speak. So we've got 37 here tonight. Thank you so much, everyone. I do appreciate it. For all the people who've come back, thank you so much for coming back. I value that. And for the new people, an exceptionally warm welcome. I hope you get some value out of tonight. I really hope you come back every first Monday of the month. Diarize it, put in a diary, join my mailing list from the website, whatever you need to do to get a reminder. The first Monday of every month is a free webinar on any meaningful topic. So quite a lot of you people came here tonight because you were looking for the silver method. Just to manage your expectations, I'm not going to be teaching the silver method tonight. I might mention it here or there, but this is just a general, meaningful webinar just to add value, to keep the community engaged and connected. We're about 500 silver graduates now in Australia alone, and we've now got 2 years of developing graduates in South Africa. So we're probably about 20 there or something around there, just a small number, but at least it's growing. And there are quite a few of you here tonight. So you're very, very dedicated, you from South Africa. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate it. And it's so nice for you to mix, even though you might not talk as much to each other, but you mix in with a lot of grads here in Australia. So I am the Silver Method Director for Australia and South Africa. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to either text me or put something in the chat box. Nancy is on at the moment and she can just pick it up if we need to follow anything up with you. But if you do want a webinar on the Silver Method, please go to my channel, Silver Method Australia, and search for this topic, the 4 key skills to take charge of your life. That's on the Silver Method, or very older ones called Your Roadmap to Success. Any of those 2 topics. All right, so let's begin. For the new people, Meaningful Monday is just really to raise awareness about how we do create our own reality in every way, shape, or form. We are not victims. We create every experience in our life, even though sometimes you might not want to think that. The sooner we get to be totally, fully, 100% accountable for our experience of life and start to intentionally create the life of our own design, just through awareness, techniques, practice, the better our life gets. So the less we focus on how we create our own reality, the more we kind of get swung about, tossed around by life, because we're not aware that all the thoughts we think is creating the next thing. So all the feelings that we have is creating the next thing. All the worries that we have is creating something else to worry about. So when we become mindful and we become intentional and creative, we start to create our own reality and have a much better lifestyle. So tonight I'm talking about a topic that's quite different to anything I've done before. We're talking about authenticity. Authenticity, vulnerability, something that is actually very less common today, unfortunately, than it is common. Just want to let some more people in, just a sec. So I call it the journey to authenticity. I think Nancy and I came up with the title together because authenticity is a journey, okay? You don't just go from being a person who protects themselves from maybe being hurt or maybe being embarrassed or humiliated or shamed or whatever it is we're trying to protect ourselves from, and then just say, okay, there we go, I'm just going to be my full authentic self. It doesn't happen that way. However, I want to tell you that the importance of this Meaningful Monday in my book is probably one of the most important lessons I've ever done. It's just something I've got to love and practice and has changed my life significantly. And I think it actually, the journey, because it's called the journey to authenticity, the journey really became a full-blown mission to become as authentic as possible when I first did Heal Your Life in October 2022. That program changed my life. I then did it 3 times in a year. So by October 2023, I'd done my 3rd Heal Your Life. For those of you who may have been in one of my workshops, I train Heal Your Life. It's a 2-day workshop. Nancy's also a trainer, and we both Heal Your Life coaches. So we've run several workshops since 2012. And the more we run them and the more we attend them ourselves as participants, the more authenticity begins to develop naturally on its own. And I wanted to share this tonight because sometimes we actually need, and as funny as it sounds, a lesson on it. Because until we get the awareness of how we're not living authentically, we can't actually make any significant changes. And the changes I'm talking about are not changes to create embarrassment, shame, or any negative emotion, fear or judgment, anything like that. It's the awareness to change towards authenticity, because that's where we truly connect with other human beings and have very valuable, wonderful relationships. And if I want to just tell you what is the sum up of your whole life, if you were lying on your deathbed right now, the sum up of your life would be the quality of your relationships. If anybody was lying on their deathbed, the last thing you'd think about was the money or the car in the driveway or the house, holiday home. You would not. You'd be thinking about the quality of your life relationships. And people on their deathbed that go happy and fulfilled have had really good quality relationships, and people who are in a very bad place, not ready to go. Think about it, not ready to go. Why are they not ready? They're not ready because they haven't mended so many relationships in their life, and they feel this regret with a pinch at the very end when it's probably a bit late. So this is a lesson of value that I cannot emphasize strongly enough. And if I want to ask you a real favor, is to give yourself a promise that somehow, some way, this is going to be your number one mission. However you go to work every day, it's about authenticity. How you, in your significant relationship, it's going to be about practicing authenticity. If it's with friendships that you like or don't like, family members that you like or don't like, whatever it is, it's about having the courage to show up with authenticity. Because when we do that, the person that we honor is ourselves. And when you honor yourself, you love yourself. And when you love yourself, well, life is better in every regard. So this is such an important topic. There are no words to describe it. And the only thing I can say is, if any of you, like myself, I'm not telling you that I'm authentic and I'm better than anyone here. I'm not telling you that I'm teaching you from a place of a pedestal. I'm telling you I'm exactly like every single one of you. I'm on this journey too. And it's got such rewards. It's not easy, it's hard, but it's got such rewards, and it's got such fulfillment and joy and love and contentment at the other side of it. I want to really just kind of encourage you all to be willing to embrace this journey. All right, so let's begin. So, let's start here. To be authentic, we must cultivate the courage to be imperfect and vulnerable. Now, if you're making notes, please make notes. I like it if you do make notes. It's good for yourself to make notes and learn from every single experience of life. We're never too old to learn. Courage is a very interesting word because we sometimes associate courage with like a soldier who's wearing a bulletproof vest, okay, and a helmet and something to protect himself, and he's brave. I want to tell you, the courage I'm talking about is when you take off the bulletproof vest, you take off the helmet, you take off the friggin' protective clothing altogether, you drop your arms, your weapons, and you just stand there risking it all. That's to be authentic. And it might not be in a war zone where bullets are flying towards you, but it'll be in your personal relationships where judgment can be flung against you, or rejection, or abandonment, or loss of connection with someone, or disappointing someone, or maybe even hurting them with the truth. But it's about the courage to be imperfect. I didn't put a slide on this. I maybe could have, but write this down. This is one of the best quotes I have ever heard. Okay, here it comes. Write this down. 20 seconds of insane courage can absolutely change your life. And I'm telling you, it could even be 5. 5 seconds of insane courage. And I'm talking about insane courage. I'm talking about there's something on your heart that you've been wanting to say, and you just can't bring yourself to say it. Because either you're afraid of something. I don't know what you're afraid of. Maybe you're afraid of hurting a person, but you're not hurting the person and not being authentic. Who are you hurting? You're hurting yourself. So this is why I say this journey really began for myself. I can even speak for Nancy. For those of you who don't know who I'm talking about when I say Nancy, Nancy works with me in my business. She's been she joined me in 2017, and we've come a long road together. I couldn't run the business that I run today without her help. I can honestly say that. She's a blessing in every way. And many of you who've done my courses absolutely know her because she's there. So Nancy and I have both come through this thing of authenticity, because we both did Heal Your Life. And the changes are so powerful. They are so significant that we, want to share this with you. And the only thing I can say is, if you haven't done Heal Your Life, it's a course you absolutely have to do. And I'm not here saying this because I want to sell you into the course. I want to tell you that this is really where you transform your life. I love the Silver Method. It changed my life. I'm not saying there's one over the other. They're completely different. The Silver Method is a toolbox of techniques to help you in every area of your life create the life of your own design. However, did you know that if you don't love yourself enough, you won't use the Silver Method tools? If you don't love yourself enough, you're going to sabotage as you're getting your life right. You're going to sabotage it and reverse it. If you have the Silver Method tools and you even want a better relationship, you might not use all the tools in the Silver Method toolbox because relationships are challenging. They're confronting. So that's why Heal Your Life, when you start to love yourself more and more and more, you start having more and more courage. So this is what I'm talking about when I say courage to be imperfect, courage to not being the person that will always be liked, the courage to be the person who's really just, as it says there, not perfect, flawed, just yourself. And to be able to stand there and sit there, risking that, that disconnection potentially with someone. So we have to believe that we are fundamentally worthy of love and worthy of acceptance, just as we are. So to tell you, self-love is where it begins, because if we love ourselves, we feel worthy of love, because we love ourselves. And if you love yourself, then you start to accept yourself exactly as you are. It's a journey. No one can just say, oh, I'm going to do a 2-day Heal Your Life and I'm going to accept myself completely. No, it doesn't happen like that for anyone. Self-acceptance is a journey, and it only can develop through constant affirmation that I love and accept myself exactly as I am, but it takes thousands of them. But it really is through self-love. Okay, I've learned that there is no better way to invite more grace, gratitude, and joy into our lives than by mindfully practicing authenticity. So authenticity is not a one day I show up and I'm now authentic because I've decided to be that. It's not. It's a practice. It's every moment when you want to either do something that you think might not really be that convenient for others or that comfortable for other people, but you want to do it, is that you actually say that. Or when you don't want to do something and you know you're going to disappoint people, maybe you're going to even hurt people, but you don't want to do something. But you're going to practice being authentic. So it's this constant practice. But look what it says. It invites more grace. Grace is blessings that you don't deserve. And gratitude, where you love yourself and you love life. Excuse me, every experience. And in the theme of authenticity, by the way, I'm not that well. So I'm just letting you know, I haven't been sick for years. But I think there's a lot of personal development that I've been doing on steroids in the last 2 weeks, maybe even less, 10 days. I've gone through quite a lot. I've been doing anyway. I don't want to go into that. And I think everything's starting to come out. And that's why I thought this is the perfect lesson to share with you. So practicing authenticity is every time we show up to go a little bit further, a little bit deeper, and a little bit more authentically. It says here, even when it's hard, and even when we're wrestling with the shame and the fear of not being good enough. Now, let me tell you, shame is one of the worst emotions a human being can feel. And if a person ever experienced shame, which I think all of us did under the age of 5, at least once, everyone, every human being, I don't know what it is, it could have been in nursery school, we hated that feeling so much that some people, as we grow up as adults, will do everything to avoid feeling that feeling again. Some people go to such an extreme that they control their whole environment, and that's what a narcissist is. A narcissism comes from shame, where it's so extreme, that fear of feeling that you have to control everything. Everyone's opinion of you, everyone's behavior, everyone's feelings, everything. Now that's the extreme. Now we're not going to the extreme here. We probably all well-balanced individuals, hopefully. But we still wrestle with that feeling of shame. No one likes that feeling of shame. Because there it says that we fear that we're not good enough. And we then fear losing connection. What if you don't like me? What if you don't like me and I'm just me? Then I've got nothing left. But if I pretend to be something else and I put on this face every day and I show up to be this person that I know you like, well, that's safe for me. And then I won't feel shame and I won't risk disconnection with you. But that's not true. And you miss a very much deeper relationship with people. And then it says also when it's hard, when you're wrestling with shame, and it says also, especially when the joy is so intense, we're afraid to let ourselves feel it. That is so interesting. I'm not actually like that. I'll just tell you that. I've never been a person who's foreboding of joy where I'm cautious about it or fear something's going to go wrong. I just haven't. But I learned this from people in my Silver Method classes, especially in the last like 3 or 4 years, especially people under 20, the teenagers in my class. We'd be doing an exercise in the Silver Method. Those of you who've done the Silver Method who are here, you will know the mirror of the mind. I love the mirror of the mind. It's one of my best techniques. That's the technique to do all your goal achievement or all your problem solving. So we talk about the outcome image where you've got to really feel the emotions and the joy and the success and, feel it, feel the emotion. And I've had the young teenagers, several of them over the years say, I have a question. And I say, yes. What if I don't want to feel that joy and that success? And then I try not to be rude, but I'm really confused by that question. But I had to actually think someone's actually asking me this question, and I must just like try and work it. So I said to the person, like, what's the reason you wouldn't want to feel the joy and the success? And it was only through listening to them speak that they said, well, what if it doesn't happen? I couldn't live with the disappointment. Now that's a very strange way to live. Because then you're actually programming and visualizing at a very low bar. So there's this wonderful saying, most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. So don't aim low. And when you feel joy, allow yourself to feel joy, especially intense joy, even though you know it won't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. Not grief, not shame, not joy. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is like not temporary, but kind of temporary. Like everything has its own cycle. There's ups and there's downs through life, and nothing that you have in a moment, especially when it's a peak emotion, is going to continue like that forever and ever and ever. Just that's this life. So knowing that, well, when there is joy to feel, allow yourself to feel it. And that's also being authentic. Have you ever been to places where there's something so funny and some people are just rolling in laughter? They don't care how they look. They're having the biggest laugh of their life. They're snorking. They during their life, they're just having it all. And then there's some people there who are trying to contain themselves and trying to not laugh. That's what we're talking about in that thing. So let yourself feel the joy. Then it says it's these moments in life that demand we show up, that we let go of who we think we're supposed to be and embrace who we really are. That's from Brené Brown. So for those of you who maybe haven't been too close to Brené Brown, I would recommend any of her books. Watch her on YouTube. She's fantastic. She's got TED Talks, amazing. And Daring Greatly is a book. I'm busy reading it. I haven't finished it, so I won't pretend I know what's in there. But I've skimmed going through it. But Also, she's written a wonderful book called Atlas of the Heart. I haven't read it either. Nancy was very kind enough to buy me the gift of the book. But I did see her documentary on an international flight of Atlas of the Heart. Just absolutely brilliant work. And this comes from that. So, look her up. This woman is a gift. She's such a gift to the world because no one's punching this subject as much as she is non-stop, and it's really important. All right, so I'm going to talk about 8 points tonight, and then we're going to get through this topic with some things you can do at the end, how to start the journey towards more authenticity. So the first one is the points to the journey. Well, number 1, understanding vulnerability. We actually got to understand it, right? What it actually is, and be okay with it. Excuse me. Cultivating self-compassion. Now, this is an absolute choice, and we need to become aware that we need to practice self-compassion. It's not really an option. It's just something you must learn to practice, to be kinder to yourself, to not try to be perfect all the time. And with awareness, we can get better at that. When you get better at that, you'll become more authentic because you're not so afraid of making mistakes. You're rather more eager to learn from your mistakes. That's what's like number 3 there. Letting go of perfectionism. Same thing. You can have less perfectionism if you have more self-compassion. Perfectionism is not a badge of honor. When I was younger, I thought it actually was. I used to hear people say that they're a perfectionist. And I used to think, oh my goodness, I'm not a perfectionist. Or am I supposed to be a perfectionist? Am I supposed to, do things over and over and over again until they're absolutely perfect? And then I learned that perfectionism is a form of procrastination. So let go of perfectionism. Someone wrote, you mentioned that relationships are what you think about on the deathbed. However, if one shows courage and tells their family the reality of what one thinks, what about that whole relationship gets ruined because of telling the truth? Meg, thank you for that question. That is the truth bomb question. That's the question of all questions. The answer is, what about that whole relationship gets ruined because of telling the truth? All right. That's the risk. The very first slide I put on, it said courage. Courage to be authentic. And then I said 20 seconds of insane courage. And then I went so far to say, even if you can't bear 20 seconds, how about 5? How about 5 seconds of insane courage and tell the truth? That's the requirement. Now, there's a way to tell the truth. Okay. That might be maybe a differentiating factor. You might ruin the relationship either way. If you said to someone, maybe it's your partner, I'm not in love with you anymore. I love you, but I'm not in love with you, or something along those lines, you could ruin the relationship. If you said to a sibling, that I will not be treated like this anymore, and I've told you this for many years, and you don't wish to change, so I choose to no longer see you. That's my own extreme self-care moment here. So you can tell them you may ruin the relationship either way. But let's say the relationship may actually become more authentic and the person might say, thank you for that feedback. What can I do to fix the relationship? You might get to the first time in your life an authentic place. So even though you ask that, what if that happens? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about that, going there. We're not saying don't go there. We're saying, yes, you've got to go there. So when I say how you go there, I mean, you can go there speaking in terms with love, or you can go there because you're still spitting flames. If you're full of anger and resentment, my suggestion is that you work on yourself first and you process all that anger and resentment. That's what we do in Heal Your Life, by the way. This course is amazing. And then you practice forgiveness, which comes after anger. You can't go to forgiveness if you're very angry. It just is impossible. It's a stage, I know, because I've done many, many lessons in many, many courses on forgiveness and researched the subject. So you do need to release the anger first, and then you do need to practice forgiveness until you come to a place of love and compassion, where you see the person and you understand that, unfortunately, that person, as bad as that seems, or as bad as they are, they're doing their best. I'm telling you, they're doing their best from their level of awareness. That's their best. It might be terrible, but from their level of awareness, that's their best. And then when you get to that understanding, you can have more compassion. Now, self-love requires you to love yourself enough not to be a doormat. And sometimes there are relationships that continually treat you like a doormat. So that's why number 4 is boundaries. You start putting boundaries down. If boundaries start working, great, then you can preserve the relationship. But sometimes they don't work, or sometimes there's some other issue, or sometimes there's too much trust that's been broken, or sometimes, um, there might be um, hurt for so many years that your heart closes, or I don't know, whatever it may be. There could be a multitude of things where you decide that you care and love yourself enough to want the best for yourself. And if that's not the best, then no one's going to take care of you except you. No one's going to come and say, you know what, this relationship isn't good for you. Let me just save you and take you out. And we need to do that for ourselves. And we might say, oh, that's so selfish, Jeanine, and that's terrible. Well, you know what? What if I said to you that so many people are feeling the same way? And until we demonstrate this vulnerability thing and demonstrate courage and show it through our own example, can we ever give people permission to do the same for themselves? And you know what? There are millions, no, not millions, sorry, billions and billions and billions of people out there who aren't living authentic lives, who aren't happy. Well, that's not a way to live. The way to live is to be fulfilled, to be loved, to be cherished, to be happy, to be joyful. And we get to a point, especially when we start healing ourselves and loving ourselves enough, where we realize, why am I living with this that doesn't serve me, that's hurting me, that's constantly eroding my self-esteem or whatever it may be? You don't have to. So you do need to honor yourself. So that was a good question. I'm sorry for the long answer, but that's just the best answer I can give, and I hope that was sufficient in the answer that I gave. All wounds heal with time. Absolutely, all wounds heal with time. Thanks, Meg. Yeah, and it's not. Thanks, Scott, for saying. It's not only that wounds heal; it's that we must heal our wounds properly. And what I mean by that is through processing emotion and not saying, oh, I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to put it in this box and put it over there and shut it and lock it and throw away the key and leave it. That's what you call trapped emotion. And trapped emotion, trapped emotion, trapped emotion over your lifetime compounds, and eventually people have major health issues, cancer, chronic disease, some autoimmune disorder, whatever it may be, from trapped emotion. Chronic disease that comes from the long term, it's in Heal Your Life. It's in Conscious Medicine by Jill Edwards, if you want another reference. Conscious Medicine, amazing book. Or You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. There are other books that talk about this as well. Even books from the 1920s written by Florence Scoven Shinn called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Going as far back as that long-term illness that comes over the long term is caused from trapped emotion, suppressed anger, suppressed fear, guilt, resentment, feelings like that. So wounds do heal, but just to be aware, we need to heal our wounds properly through processing the emotion. That means sitting with it. If you're sad, sit with the sadness and cry. If you're angry, let the anger out. If you need to go up on top of a mountain and scream, go do that. If you need to go into your bedroom and punch a pillow, go do that. If you need to roll up your windows in your car and scream, go do that. But get the emotion out. You need to journal it. Whatever you need to do. Try not to get the anger out on a person. I don't think that's helpful. And it can damage relationships unnecessarily. But you must process it. So whatever the emotion is, it needs to be processed. Okay, number 5. Cultivate authentic connections. That's really important. The next thing, practicing gratitude and practicing joy. I like the word practicing because for many people it doesn't come naturally. what we want to do is what I call train your vibration to an upward place. Become a higher vibration, become a happier, joyous person. And you do that by practicing joy. Keep moving up to that higher frequency, that love, being in a sense of awe and wonder. And the more you do that, the more gratitude and joy you can feel. The next one, embracing your story. So many people want to hide their story. They want to tell their story in a way that makes them look good. How about embracing your story as it really is? Finding the value in your story. There's a saying that says, your wounds are your worth. So at the end of the presentation, I'll show you a slide. I do rapid results coaching. It's a coaching program with 14 tools. I've got something called an 8-week breakthrough program. But besides that, there are 2 tools in that rapid results toolbox that I talk about releasing a trapped emotion or a conflicted value or a limiting belief in one session, guaranteed. And it is guaranteed, because if it doesn't, I'll give you your money back. But it's guaranteed, that one session. And what it is that makes you just release some terrible thing you've carried sometimes for 50 years. It could be a feeling of terrible fear. It could be a feeling of anger, resentment, whatever it is, betrayal. How do you release it? Well, you change the meaning. That's really how the technique works. It's through a specific process. It's very scientific. But as you take the same story and you change the meaning. I'll give you an example. Here's a photo here. This beautiful face is my late brother, Gianmarco. Call him Jamie. He died when he was 21. Now, embracing your story, I could tell a story that, when I was 42, my brother passed away, and my life's never been the same, and I'm sad, and I just can never be happy. That's one story. That's not my story, but it could be my story. But that means I gave meaning to his death. Sad, bad, nothing good can come of that. Well, for those of you who know me and have been in any of my courses, especially Silver, when I put my brother's slide up on day 1, the very first slide, I honor him, because his passing brought me to a crossroads. His passing brought me to a place where I really questioned myself and asked myself, am I truly happy? Not lying to myself and pretending I'm happy because I've got this success on the outside in corporate, where I've got money and status and all of that. No, Jeanine, are you really happy deep within yourself? And the answer was no. But I only came to that point of my truth when my brother passed away. And then I said, well, what are you doing with your life? And then I thought, well, I don't really know what I'm doing with my life. I don't even know what I want to do, but I'm not happy what I'm doing. I don't know what it is that I want to do, but I'm not happy here. And that journey brought me to being determined to find my life purpose and to give myself meaning. And that's when I got the intuitive impulse to join the John Maxwell team, started adding value to people. And when I started adding value to people, that's when, just like that, I realized this is what I'm born to do. This is what I want my life purpose to be. Whatever it is, I want to add value to people. And as a result, I left corporate. I was in a completely different industry. Okay, I was in retail and then market research to retailers like Coles and Woolworths. To leaving an industry, and I've been in corporate for 20 years, I was petrified to leave. It was not easy. It was hard, a long story. But my brother's death gave me the courage. There's the word, the courage and the risk to face my fears and to do what I dreamed to do, to fulfill my heart's longing of becoming a silver method trainer. That was really the thing I dreamt of doing. And today, all the lives I've blessed from people who've done the silver method is not my legacy. That's Gianmarco's legacy. So if I tell the same story of my brother's death, these are 2 totally different stories. I'm mentioning this because your whole life is a whole series of story after story after story. What are you doing with your stories? Are you telling sad stories? I'm a victim. He hurt me. She broke my heart. He 2-timed me. He divorced me. He stole the money. He embezzled me. We all have stories, and many of them are not nice. But remember, the meaning that we give to our stories determines whether that's a rosy outcome or a really gloomy one. So embracing your story is also your everything about you, embracing it. Don't try to pretend it's better. People on social media, it's too terrible today. They've got all their best photos on social media to show the world they live the perfect life. Meantime, they're as unhappy as sin. No. Embrace your story in every way, shape, or form. And when times are tough, like right now, I'm sick. I'm on Meaningful Monday. I'm not going to pretend I'm not sick. I am. I'm not very well. I'm not very sick. I've got a head cold. That's about it. Why have I got it? Because I'm aware. I've been processing a huge amount of emotion in the last couple of days. So I'm here with you. We're on this journey together. Embrace your story. Don't try to perfect it. And lastly, living in alignment with your values. That, my friends, is the most important thing I can ever tell you in your life. Live in alignment with your values. What do you value? Because if you don't live in alignment with your values, that relationship is going to end. It's a matter of time. It's a time bomb. So if you want to sit on a time bomb, then ignore it, because I'm telling you, if you don't have alignment with your values with any person, company, organization, brand, product, it's going to end. So when I say in alignment with values, I'll give you an example. If two people are dating or married, and the one is very much into their faith, and the other one doesn't have any faith, but for the one who has the faith, they really, really have their faith as a priority. Let's just say it's like for me, I must tell you, I'm a person of faith. God comes first. That's just it. It comes before my business. It comes before my partner. It comes before my family. It comes before everything. That's me. I'm not saying it's you. That's me. God first. Everything after that. My whole life is what it is, and I'm blessed as I am. I know because of the grace of God. I am not anything amazing without that grace. So that's me. Now, I'm not saying that's you, but that's me. If I was in any relationship with an organization, a company, a person, a partner, a relative, whatever it may be, and they had none of that I have in terms of that category of spirituality and faith, I don't know. If it was a friend, I don't know. We could probably have an acquaintance of some sort, but I don't know if I'd have a deep and meaningful friendship with that person. If I look at all my friends, they are people like that. And the ones that aren't that much like that, at least are spiritual people. They might not be religious. And I'm not caring for religion. I'm caring for a person who's spiritual. So that's an example of a value. Living in alignment with your values. What do you value? It could be anything. It could be respect. It could be honesty. If honesty and integrity is something you value, do you honestly believe you can have a deep and meaningful friendship or partner or relationship with someone who lies? No. It's going to crumble at some point. So that last number 8 is absolutely fundamental. It's the make or break. Now, if some people don't part ways, but they are not in alignment with their values, they're living the biggest lie. Because the person who's aware that your values aren't aligned cannot possibly be happy. So if you're not happy, what are we living? An inauthentic life? What are we pretending for? My question is, why are we pretending if we are? And who are we pretending for? And what are we getting from this pretending? It's not serving you. We must be happy. And the only way we can be happy is, let's work from the bottom up. Happy is being in alignment with your values, knowing that in all your relationships is that way, embracing your story, ups and downs, and finding the good meaning in it, practicing gratitude and joy every day, having real, authentic connections with people. Every relationship's amazingly authentic. You can be your true self. You don't have to pretend. You tell people your raw, honest truth, and they're there connecting with you, leveling with you, sharing with you, helping you, whatever it is, encouraging you, honoring you, setting boundaries so that you feel you've got, space and time for yourself where you need it. You can say no when you want to say no, or yes when you want to say yes. You feel comfortable that your boundaries are respected. You don't have a bother about being perfect. You're okay to make mistakes. You are quite comfortable in your own skin. Much better way to live. You practice self-compassion. So if you do mess up, okay, I'm kind to myself. I'm not perfect. I'm going to learn from the experience and get better as a result of it. That's okay. I'm human. I love that about me. At least I'm learning. Yep. And at the very top, all of that allows me to be vulnerable. So you can just see how, not having these or having these is a completely different life experience. In the interest of time, I'm going to go really through a bit of detail on these 8, but this is the whole lesson in itself. So to understand vulnerability, it means being authentic, means being willing to show up, to be seen for who we really are. See, there's a mask on that picture. To be seen without that mask. And vulnerable, even when it's uncomfortable. I just want to tell you what's very, very interesting. Excuse me. I learned this from Brené Brown in her book. Did you know the word persona comes from the Greek word persona, which means stage mask? Can you believe that? When I heard it, I was like, wow. So persona is the root word for personality even. Your persona. Stage mask. So just an awareness. No judgment. We don't want to judge ourselves. We're not trying to make ourselves wrong here. Please I'm making this very clear. This is not to come from a place of self-judgment in any way, shape, or form. This is to come from a place of gentleness and non-judgmental self-awareness. Do I have any of these qualities? Can I become better at being authentic? Being vulnerable is the ultimate act of courage. So you know what's interesting is that these big tough people, tough on the outside, I saw them. I was in corporate for 20 years. Please, I've seen ego so big they couldn't get themselves into a room. They used to fill the whole room with the ego, okay? If anyone's worked in retail, you'll know what I'm talking about. The buyers in these big retailers. Well, I worked for the biggest retailer in South Africa, which was Pick n Pay. And then I worked on the Coles account. I dealt with Aldi. I've been to Woolworths head office many, many times. I'm not naming or shaming anyone. I'm just telling you that industry. If you want to talk about ego, there it's really big, okay? And I was a woman in a man's world in South Africa in Pick n Pay for many years. Always just ego in the room all the time. And that ego, think, oh, that's such a big, brave person, guy or girl, doesn't matter. We think that's brave. My friends, that's the opposite of brave. This statement tells you that courage is the opposite. Courage is saying, you know what? I'm not trying to impress you with my, I don't know what, and my big talk and my big whatever, bullying attitude, because that's what they were, to scare you so that you can be afraid of me because I'm tough now. And, it's the very opposite. Courage is being yourself. That no, I'm not okay today. And maybe I'm not getting this right. And maybe I can't do that thing that you want. And maybe I haven't done it properly. And maybe I don't want to even do that at all. Whatever it may be. But it's being authentic. Your true self. You know how many people nod their heads in agreement in a boardroom with a boss and they think they absolutely don't agree at all with what the boss is saying. But they're all not in agreement. Why? Because they're afraid of being disliked. So vulnerability is saying, you know what, I don't agree with you. Even if it means they're going to dislike you now. Maybe if all of them are going to dislike you now. The whole friggin' room. But you know what? At least you have your own opinion. I always told my staff from when I was very young, I always said to my staff, it really doesn't matter what your opinion is. If it's different to mine or the boss's opinion, please understand, it doesn't matter what your opinion is. But dear God, please have one. And let it be real. Don't ever sit there going, oh yeah, okay, I'll just agree. I'll just agree with that person. I'll just agree with that person. People pleasing. People pleasing is not a way to live. People pleasing is the most unauthentic persona. Because the only reason you're doing what you're doing, your behaviors, your words, everything you're doing, what you're doing, is to be liked. Because you're too afraid to be yourself, because then you won't be liked. So you're not really you. You're something else. Call it fake. Call it inauthentic. It's not a way to live. So yes, it does take courage. It's hard, man. This road is hard. When your feelings are really hurt and you can sit in front of a person and bare your soul and tell them from where you're coming, even if it means you might risk losing connection, that's vulnerability. That's what I'm talking about. Because if you can sit there in the right presence, coming from a place of love, and do that in the kindest way, but the most honest way, when you become what I call emotionally honest, you'll find that the people who stick with you through this journey of vulnerability, and it's a journey, are the people who do love you for who you are. And the people who can't stick around, they just can't take it. They can't keep up with it. They can't do it, are not your people. They're not your people because they don't love you for who you are. They love you when you're pleasing them, and they don't love you when you're not pleasing them. That's not love. That is conditional love, which really isn't love. Conditional love is not love, really. Unconditional love is when I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you no matter what, even if it means you don't want to be with me. That's the love. This is my goal. If you want to know Jeanine's personal agenda, where I am at this age and where I want to go until, if let's say I live to be 100, God willing. Do you want to know what my goal is? My journey's true heart longing goal is to somehow learn whatever it is I have to learn, heal all the wounds I have to heal as fast as I can, waste no time. I do rapid results coaching on myself. I did them today. I did 3 today on myself. Maybe that's why I'm a bit nasally. Why? Because my goal is to find out how on earth can I come to a place of loving everyone unconditionally. I'm not full of non-judgment. I'm full of judgment. Things don't go my way, I can get angry. You know, the way somebody treats someone, whether it's me or someone else, and I see that and I think it's just wrong, it can make me upset. It can make me angry. Well, if I'm healing and I understand and I'm practicing forgiveness, slowly over time with practice, everybody can learn to become more and more compassionate. So when we see bad people doing bad things, we don't look at them with terrible anger. We look at them with compassion. And if we can love everybody for just who they are, you know, we are really going to heal the world, because all the drama and all the war and everything is all conditional. If you don't behave like this, I'll punish you. But if you behave like this, I'll be nice to you. If you behave like this, I'll love you. If you behave like this, you'll be my VIP. But if you don't, I'm going to cut you out. That's not love. That's not love. So I think to emphasize, the place where this all begins is really under our own household, with the people closest to us, in our own families. That's where you begin. This journey is there and there alone. That's why my focus is, I've been working on my family really seriously for about 5 years, but really seriously, since I did Heal Your Life. When I was in South Africa, I did the Silver Method there in April. When I went to Cape Town after that, I did a Heal Your Life for just my mother and my brother. I ran the course for just my mother and my brother. And I'm just very blessed that Nancy was on the trip with me, because when it came to family dynamics, for those of you who have done it, I went to the beach, and Nancy did it. So I didn't want to be the person in the room, so they could really be free to let it out. Maybe there is something they have with me. They need to just let it out and heal all that stuff. And it was the biggest blessing ever. Our relationships are so much better, so healed. And even between my mother and my brother, myself and my brother, myself and my mother. So it's a blessing. So I'm just saying, being vulnerable is the ultimate act of courage. Don't think courage is being a big, brave, tough person. That's not courage. That's armory. Armory, like soldiers wear. It's not the real person. Okay, just quickly, I'm aware we've got a few minutes left, and then we're going to do a meditation. Cultivating self-compassion. Sorry, someone's left me a chat. I live with someone who works in that industry and tells me all about the egos. Yep. Let me just tell you, Navid, if you gave me 24 hours I'd still be talking about that industry. It's something else. Retail industry is tough. All right. Cultivating self-compassion. So authenticity requires self-compassion, which involves treating yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when you're facing some very difficult times in your life, or when things have gone wrong for you, you're facing setbacks. It's about recognizing your worthiness. You are worthy. You are so worthy. You are worthy of being loved, cherished, and honored. You really are. Even with your imperfections. Of course, not everyone has that in their life, but maybe they've got some work to do in improving themselves. So if we don't have the relationships that we want, I'm just saying it, if we don't have the relationships we want, the only person to work on is yourself. And it's that answer every time. Every time it's only yourself you work on. You can't work on other people. And don't even try. That's not your job. That's not your territory. That's out of bounds. You work on yourself, because when you work on yourself and you love yourself more, you start telling the truth. When you become emotionally honest with people, you tell them what you are happy and not happy with. Yes, that's vulnerability. Yes, it may hurt them. Yes, it might damage relationships like that Meg who asked. Yes, it will do all of that. But what's on the other end of it? Real relationships that do love you, that do honor you, and that love you for who you are. And when you do it, you give permission to others to do the same. Number 3 was letting go of perfectionism. So that's the need to be perfect, embracing your flaws and vulnerabilities. Please, if that's anyone here on this webinar or listening to this as a recording, if you have any amount of perfectionism in yourself, that you feel that you have to get things right and be perfect, please just find a way to tell yourself, I'm willing to be imperfect. You just must be that. Be willing to not be perfect. It's a terrible, stressful way to live. Such pressure on yourself. I just want to give you from my own example. When I did Heal Your Life, it was great. It was the first one was my biggest breakthrough ever. I uncovered my greatest fear, which was a fear of being used over and over again, which came from being sexually abused when I was 12, 13, 14, 15. Before Heal Your Life, I never told more than 4 people ever that I'd been sexually abused. Now I can tell people, like I'm telling you, I'm wearing a blue top. It doesn't have any emotional charge to it. Why? Because I've healed that. The next time I did Heal Your Life, I wanted to work on relationships in my family that were a bit strained. And I worked on that. I never succeeded fully because I realized I was triggered just after that. So I hired Nancy to coach me with Heal Your Life coaching until I solved that, and I did. When I went to do Heal Your Life coaching certification, that's my 3rd one, I didn't even know what to work on. I thought, I'm just going for the certification. I don't know what to work on. Well, biggest blind spot ever, my friends. Biggest blind spot ever. We'll never stop the healing journey. What did I uncover? Massive, massive self-anger. Why would I have self-anger? From beating myself up for years for things. What's that about? That's a form of perfectionism. I didn't do that properly. I didn't end that relationship correctly. I didn't, do that when I was 25. I should have done that better when I was 14. Why did I say that to my mother when I was 12? No, no, no. Be okay with being imperfect. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself, because the person you're criticizing is not the adult you. You're not fixing yourself through self-criticism. You'll never fix yourself. You're going to just damage your self-esteem. Because when you're doing self-criticism, you are criticizing your inner child. And your inner child is always there until you're 100 years old, 150. We all have an inner child, an inner parent, and an inner adult, no matter what age you are. That inner child part of you is always there. So every time you beat yourself up, you're not beating up your adult self into correction. You are damaging and ruining the self-esteem, the joy, the fun, the laughter, the creativity, the self-expression of your inner child. And all those qualities belong with you. So if you don't have joy, fun, laughter, playfulness, That's because your inner child is too afraid. He's too afraid to have fun. You've been shamed somewhere and you just don't want to ever do that again. You don't want to be playful. No, I'll just be very correct. I'll be very correct. I won't be too playful. Can't laugh and giggle too much because that's too silly. I'll just be like an adult. That's a stunted inner child. Everyone wants to have the inner child. Be free. Be comfortable in your own skin. Laugh yourself until you've got stomach cramps and your face hurts. Yes. Be playful. Run around a park. Dance like there's no one watching. Be free to just dance away. Not like, how do I look when I'm dancing? People are going to think I'm silly. I can't dance. I've got 2 left feet. I'll just sit down. If you like the music, get up and dance. That's your inner child. If you can't do those things without feeling self-conscious, if you can't sing out loud without feeling self-conscious, your inner child is scared. So perfectionism is probably a trait somewhere because you keep criticizing yourself, or you are repeating the voice of criticism from someone else in your life, maybe your parent or a teacher. You're still playing that in your head. So now you think, I can't do this. What if I feel that humiliation again? I can't do that. What if I feel that shame again? I won't do that. What if I feel that embarrassment again? You need to heal those inner child wounds. Drop the mask. That's letting go of perfectionism. Just drop the mask. Don't try to be perfect. In fact, if you are a perfectionist, the only antidote, journal at least one mistake a day. You must make one. Then setting boundaries. Number 4, learn to set and maintain healthy boundaries. This means knowing what is acceptable for you, not for other people, not what's acceptable because that's those people's expectations. What's acceptable for you. And for you to be able to get that out of your mouth. I'm even going to go so far as saying, yes, we can text it. Sometimes we need to text it to someone. But when you get the chance, practice getting it out your mouth in words. There's actually a 30-day challenge in a book that I've read. It was part of the Heal Your Life training. We had to read a book called Extreme Self-Care by Cheryl Richardson. There's a 30-day challenge in there. You must disappoint someone every day for 30 days. Like it's a requirement. You have to disappoint someone. That comes from a people-pleasing personality. I had a coaching client who was just like, had no time for herself. Pleasing this one, pleasing that one, saying yes to everything. And then I said, you know what? Can I give you some homework? This person said yes. I said, are you willing? She said, yes, I'm willing. I said, well, there's a 30-day challenge. You need to disappoint someone every day for 30 days. The person looked at me strangely. Wasn't very happy about the challenge, but agreed eventually after some persuasion. They were going to give it a go. I saw the person at the next coaching session, which is 7 days later. And she said, I did it just for 7 days, not 30 yet. Jeanine, it's absolutely changed my life. I cannot thank you enough. It's changed my life. So just be aware, if you're a people pleaser, I recommend give it a go. I want you to do your own 30-day challenge. Disappoint someone every day until you become completely immune to doing what you want to do for yourself and letting someone down. There's a poem called The Invitation by Araya Mountain Dreamer. If you haven't heard it, you might want to look it up. The Invitation. I might even do a whole Meaningful Monday on that one poem. It's so deep. But there's a line in there that says, are you willing to disappoint another to be true to yourself and not to betray your own soul? Do you understand that when you please people and you don't honor yourself, that you are betraying yourself? And self-betrayal is the highest form of betrayal. If you have a partner and they went and slept with someone else, yes, that's betrayal. However, if you betray yourself, my friends, it might not be something that people go, oh, what a terrible thing, that person slept with someone else. It might not be that kind of thing. But to your soul, It's worse. It's worse than your partner sleeping with someone else for your soul. Not for the drama of the community watching, for your soul. You cannot betray yourself. This is why the journey of authenticity is so important. When I said when you lie on your deathbed one day, you want to go in peace, knowing that you've done your best to love people unconditionally as much as you can, to learn to practice forgiveness, to learn first and foremost self-compassion so that you can have compassion for others, and to be authentic and vulnerable in your relationships, risking lack of connection or shame to make sure that your relationships are genuine, that they're real, that they are honest, that when you tell someone, this is how I feel, you mean what you say. And when you tell someone you love them, you really love them. It's not blah, blah. And if you don't feel loved, that you can tell someone that and why and work on it and heal it and fix it and love someone, be able to love someone. This is really unconditional love. Being able to love someone, especially your own partner, truly and so much, even if it means that they are happier with someone else and not you. If you said, I understand and I want you to be happy, even if it's not with me, that's true love. True love is not this, oh no, I love you if you love me. That's not love. That's like an exchange. If you give me this, I'll give you that. If you give me $10, I'll give you 2 coffees. True love is you love everyone, even if they don't love you. You're willing to love them. You want them to be happy. You want them to be happy even if it's not with you. That's true love. Because if you can love someone that way, don't you think you'd honor them at the highest level? Yes, you'd honor them at the highest level. And if you loved someone that much, my God, you'd be so lovable. Okay, perfectionism is not self-improvement. Perfectionism is at its core about trying to earn approval and acceptance. Perfectionism has got zero to do with being a better person. It's a fear deep down. It's a fear. Perfectionism is a deep fear that I won't be accepted as I am. Okay, let's see what's in the chat box. Oh, Scott had to go. Okay, Scott, cheers. Thank you for being here. My apologies. I have to run to the next meeting. Thank you so much, Dion. You can grab the recording if you want to watch the rest. Okay, living wholeheartedly was number 5. Engage in life with a sense of worthiness, courage, and compassion. We've spoken about that. Cultivating gratitude and joy. We've discussed that. And my suggestion is cultivate gratitude. I've underlined it. Cultivate gratitude and joy. So joy, be aware of what gives you joy. Be the inner child. Have fun. Sing, dance, and, I don't know, tool around in the park. Have fun. But gratitude, if you don't have a practice of journaling gratitude every day of your life, please start. I put my gratitude journal next to my bed. I do it before I go to bed. I can't miss it. It's right there. And I might not have time in the morning, but definitely just before going to bed, takes 5 minutes. I just journal a full page of gratitude. It keeps your heart in the right posture. There it is, number 6. Okay? It also fosters a positive mindset. Cultivating resilience. This is massive. I haven't gone into this in depth, but building resilience by developing the ability to recover from setbacks and adversity is so important. And it's about maintaining a sense of perspective. Perspective means take any bad experience in your life. Just think of the worst experience of your life right now. Think of any real bad experience right now. Think of it right now. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to imagine that you go far out to the furthest part of the universe where you can just see planet Earth from a distance. It's so small. It's like almost a tiny little ball there. And you try to see that bad experience as a dot you can't even see in that picture on the little ball of Earth. Now, from this higher perspective, ask yourself, what value did that event have for me? What value did it have? What could it teach me? Just one thing or more, but just one thing. If you can come up with one thing, what was the value of that bad experience? From a higher perspective, you'll find one. Or if I said to you, what's the higher purpose? Go to your higher purpose thinking from the highest version of yourself. What's a higher purpose potentially for that experience to have happened in my life? If you get one answer there, well, you've transformed the experience. And now you're resilient. Why? Throw anything at me. I'll find value in it. I'm not saying it doesn't take away the pain. The pain of my brother's death was real. I'd never had such heartbreak in my entire life. I never cried like that in my whole life. Looking back, there was huge value. As sad as it was tragic. But my gosh, there was the equivalent value. And there's a quote from Napoleon Hill that says, within every temporary defeat lies the seed of an equivalent advantage. He in fact says equivalent or greater. So within every temporary defeat, all defeat is temporary. Nothing is permanent. Within every temporary defeat lies the seed of an equivalent or greater advantage. And that's my brother. His death gave me my life purpose. I'm living my best life. And if anyone's been blessed through any of the Silver Method or Heal Your Life or coaching, anything that I've done, that's his legacy. So there is value in every adversity. And then connection and belonging. Foster genuine connections with others by being authentic and vulnerable. Understand that true belonging comes from being accepted for who you truly are. Yes, we just want to be accepted for who we truly are. Why on earth would you want to be accepted by pretending to be something else? Doesn't make any sense. So take off the persona, learn, get on the journey of more and more authenticity. Connection is the key to empathy. Beautiful. When we can connect with others, we can understand their perspectives and their experiences. And that's really beautiful. Empathy. Okay. Here are the 5 practices, and then we're done. Now, these 5 practices have got major expansion. I might do another Meaningful Monday expanding on these 5 because there's a lot of exercises, ideas, and ways to go about them. But I'll just go through them quickly. 5 ways to help you on your journey to authenticity. 1, live authentically by letting go of other people's expectations. Sounds very easy. You have to practice that. That's what's called a practice. So if you feel like you're going to let people down or you're not going to be this perfect person in their eyes for this moment or this day or this event or whatever, just be okay with that. Let it go. Number 2, use self-compassion to combat perfectionism. Just know you are going to make mistakes. I can't stop that for you. No one can. You're going to make mistakes. Everyone's going to make mistakes. Yes, everyone, you're going to make mistakes. So just be okay with making mistakes. Just going back to number 1, letting go of people's expectations. That's where that creating boundaries comes in, and being willing to tell the truth to someone, even if it's going to not go down so well for them. Just be kind, be loving, but tell them the truth. All right, number 3, generate resilience through spirituality and congruent living. Look, from my point of view, and I'm speaking for me, I would never have coped through some events in my life without my faith and spirituality. Just the awareness that there's a power greater than myself, that's omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing, omnipresent, always, everywhere, all at the same time, anytime, always, gives me a sense of peace. I can always just let myself off the hook. Sometimes I'm not strong enough, and then just lean on a strength greater than myself. Even though I don't understand how something's going to work out, it takes all the pressure off myself. I don't have to work it out. I trust God's going to work it out. And when I ask, God, you work this out, this I can't do, I have a sense of peace. So you know what? It does give me resilience because I just have this knowing, this faith. And faith is a choice. It's just a choice. You cultivate it in your own head. No one can give you faith. You can say, oh, that person's so lucky. They've got so much faith. I wish I had the faith that person has. I find that interesting. I've heard that before. People have said that to me. I wish I had your faith. I'll say, well, have it. Oh, no, I don't have your faith. Have it. I can't just have it. Have it. It's a choice. As a kid, I realized that if I had more faith, I was less scared of anything, even the dark. So I've always been cultivating more and more faith. So generating resilience through spirituality is, for me, the strongest form of resilience on the planet. You don't have to manage everything. You don't have to be in the driver's seat every day. My God, it's exhausting. I wouldn't even want to do it. But to know that I can trust in a power greater than myself, and, you know, if you've read my book, and I talk about Kriya Yoga in the posture, there's a posture where you bow, and it's the first posture, the Kriya bow. The line you say when you're bowing, and the reason for the bow is it's a physical demonstration of humility. So you put your head down, you're sitting on the floor, you put your head down in front of your knees. It's a posture of humility. And the words we say in our mind is, may thy will be done. Isn't that a great way to live? Like, you do want your goals and dreams, absolutely. But may thy will be done. There's a divine path for your life. And if we can allow and surrender to many things and practice discipline at the same time of creating our own reality, but have this balance between the two, that's the real truth, universal truth. Create our own reality, divine plan for your life. Somewhere there's a balance between those two. You live a great life and you're happy. And generate resilience through congruent living. Yep, you've got to be congruent with what you value, what you believe in. Number 4, avoid foreboding joy. Don't try to be guarded and scared that you won't have the joy forever and something's going to go wrong. When it's happy, be happy. Allow yourself to be happy. Don't have any fear of that. And number 5, cultivate intuition. My gosh, this is the big one. Intuition and trusting faith. For those of you who have not done the Silver Method, I'm here to tell you that the Silver Method is the only program I know of in the world that has a sequential, methodical way to develop your intuition in just 4 days. And out of the 4-day program, we spend 2 full days practicing or developing our intuition. On day 4, you spend 3 hours practicing and you get to refine it. Well, when you have your intuition, you have everything. You don't have to use your logical mind. You don't have to have all that reasoning and analysis. And you can also trust energy. You can develop better relationships. I can tell you that my relationships with people, my intuition is ahead of my logic. I don't actually trust my logical brain. I tell my students in the Silver Method, do not trust your logical brain. Don't trust every thought you think. Your brain lies to you a lot of the time. It tells you you can't do this, you're not good enough for that, makes you feel bad, makes you feel stupid. Don't trust your logical brain. Trust your intuition and develop it. And faith, trusting faith. Okay, some questions are here. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mexis. My mother was murdered. I'm so sorry. I really am sorry to hear that. It changed my life. I'm so sorry, Jeanine, but I don't see any value in it. I'm glad to hear that you found a value in your brother. I'll just say this, Meg. I just feel for me to see a value in my life. My mother shouldn't have faced so much pain. Absolutely. That's a tragedy. I would talk to you about this privately. If you want to release that, if that grief or trauma is very, very high, which I'm sure it is, if you want to talk about releasing that, I promise you, you can release that. There's a process. It takes 1 session. If you want to, you can. It's just a choice if you no longer want to hold on to that suffering. I don't know how current this is or recent it is, but you can transform it. Even that lady, you know her. If you're in South Africa, you are in South Africa. That lady, I don't remember her name now. She wrote a book. She was attacked, raped, gang raped, I think, and then they cut her intestines and she carried her own. They cut her stomach, intestines were falling out. She carried her own intestines in her hands. Anyway, she wrote a book. At the end of the day, that woman, her life purpose is a massive source of inspiration from her story and her forgiveness and her resilience and her story. Her wound became her worth. So I know it's a terrible thing that happened, and I'm really sorry. I'm not saying anything positive about it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can change the meaning. That's all I'm saying. So it is terrible. Vicky, letting go of other people's expectations is something we need to do in reverse also in order to be authentic. That is, let go of our expectations of other people too. Thank you, Vicky. 100% true. Let them be vulnerable with us. So true. Risk them hurting us by being their authentic selves, absolutely, and releasing them of our expectations. Yes, because if we have expectations on them, it's also we're trying to control them. Absolutely. Happened in 2016. Okay. You can talk to me offline if you like, Meg. I am very firm in my conviction that within every temporary defeat, within every single one, lies the seed of an equivalent advantage. It's not in the tragedy, it's in the meaning, it's in something. There's a book written by Caroline Myss. If you want to look her up, Myss, she talks a lot about soul contracts. And if you look at the broader perspective of soul contracts, there's a purpose for everything. Everything. Every single thing that happens has a higher purpose. Even a tragedy. Everything. I can talk to you about that offline. So, all right. I'm going to move on now. Yeah, I understand. It's not easy, of course. And also, forgiveness, depending on how your mind has learnt it as a child, you might have a loaded version of what forgiveness means, because it doesn't mean it made right the people who murdered your mother. Forgiveness is about you choosing to release your body from carrying that dense negative grief or whatever the negative emotion is, releasing it from your energy field in your body, releasing that from your life, that you can be happier. That's what forgiveness is. It's your gift. It's for you. It's not about what they did. What they did is wrong every day of the week. It'll be wrong even 1,000 years from now. That's not what forgiveness means. Forgiveness means taking these negative emotions and giving them up to giving them up. If you believe in God, give them up to God. If you can't forgive, let God forgive them. If you don't have a faith, we can still give it up. That's what forgiving is. It's about giving that away from you. You put it, the past is the past. You can't change it, so you let go of it. Anyway, forgiveness is another topic. It's too long to talk about in 2 minutes. Events coming up, excuse me. All right. For those of you who haven't heard about Think and Grow Rich, I won't get into it. There's a free mastermind. I'm going to put a QR code on the screen in about 2 slides time. If you want to join, get out your phone. I'll give you the link to where you can join the free study. I have never done a free mastermind in 9 years. Okay, 9 years. I have not done a free mastermind. This is not a mastermind, it's a master class. It's different. It's a teaching, and it goes for 8 weeks, completely free. I've taught the book Think and Grow Rich multiple times for multiple years. It's a book I've studied and studied and studied, and this is a teaching. So if you'd like to join me on this journey, it's a wonderful book. If you think it's all about money, 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 join the masterclass. This is a spiritual book, first and foremost, a spiritual book. It's got a nice title because it was released in 1937, just after the Great Depression. No one had money. If they read Think and Grow Rich, oh, I'll buy the book. Great title. But it's actually about thinking differently, and through a different consciousness, you grow. And when you grow spiritually. So when you become spiritually rich, every area of your life will be rich as a consequence. So join the class if you haven't already. Join the masterclass. It starts on the 18th of June. Silver Manifesting, the 2-day program. It's different to the Silver Method. If you'd like to join, it's live in person only, not available online, only live in person on the 21st and 22nd of June. I don't know if the early bird is still on. I think it's just on for a day or 2 left. Okay, Heal Your Life, the course that is really related to the subject of tonight about authenticity, vulnerability, courage. This is the course that starts the journey of true authenticity. If you haven't done Heal Your Life, my friends, this is the course to do. Now, if you think you're going to join this, please just let us know, like in the next 24 to 48 hours, because if we don't get enough expressions of interest, we might postpone this class. But if we do, we're obviously going to run it. But there's other things that we've got in our mind that people potentially could do. So we just need to know, if you'd like to join Heal Your Life in July. If you'd prefer to join Heal Your Life at a later date, let us know that as well. We do have one, of course, coming up towards the end of the year. But just for July, if you want to join, let us know. Otherwise, we're going to probably postpone this one. So if you can let us know, that would be great. Thank you. And then dynamic healing is a course on healing, hands-on healing, emotional healing, and all that kind of healing, and using different kinds of energy, human energy, electrical energy, magnetic energy, and so on. This is designed by Jose Silva, and then Laura perfected it. So that's coming up in August. The next 4-day Silver Method, 4-day immersion, the core foundational program, is in September. We have some bookings already. Please, if you'd like to book, please book early. If you're a graduate and you want to attend, please book like now, because there are only 4 seats and you'll go on a waiting list if we're full. So if you want to definitely get in, please will you book your graduate seat ASAP. And also if you're new, get your ticket in early. Here's the QR code for Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't joined by typing your name into the page that's got that image there of me, it looks like that with the blue and the gold, then please scan the QR code to be in the mastermind, the masterclass. Okay, it's a free book study. If you all got that, I'm moving on. This is what I was talking about, rapid results coaching. Release your block in one session. It's guaranteed. I charge $350 for that. If you have any unknown block or any memory associated trauma, anything at all, that's what I'm talking about, is this. Please let me know. It's one of the greatest freedoms, liberations. As I said, I did 3 of these today on myself. Everything I become aware of that is blocking me, or it's an old memory, the ones I was coming up with were from high school. I did 3 today. So, on myself, by the way. Okay. And if anyone's interested in my 12-week breakthrough program, I have got one spot open. It's 12 weeks. I go through the entire 14 tools in the toolbox of rapid results coaching. All right, let's meditate quickly. So grab a paper and pen. You're not going to only just reset your body and mind. I'm going to also help you set your intention for the month, what you'd like to focus on. So with the paper and pen, I'm going to ask you some questions once we're in meditation. Lena, I'm coming to Heal Your Life. Oh, okay, we're on, Lena. Thank you. That's the decision made. All right, so Heal Your Life. This whole webinar tonight on authenticity, as I said, my own journey here came from Heal Your Life. My life has changed in every way to such a huge degree because of Heal Your Life. I'm just letting you know. For me, it was the greatest blessing. Do not deprive yourself of such a blessing. It will help you. Okay, I'm going to put some music on. And let's, oops, sorry, wrong one. Okay, just quickly take a nice deep breath and close your eyes and relax. Take another slow, deep belly breath, and as you exhale, relax your body from head to toe, relieving and releasing all tensions and ligament pressures along the way. Take another deep breath. And now just be here in this moment right now. Allow your mind to become very calm and peaceful. by imagining that you're in a beautiful, relaxing place. And whilst you're in your ideal place of relaxation, I'd like you to create a waterfall of white light and put it into the scene. Put it anywhere you choose. This is a waterfall of beautiful, gentle, white cascading light. It's a healing energy, a clearing energy. And now it's created. I'd like you to go stand under that healing white light. As you're standing under this healing white light, feel how it's clearing all the stress, tension, and clutter away. Feel your energy field being cleansed and cleared. And now your heart is opening and you feel that you're radiating love. Your energy field's expanding as you're radiating more and more love from your heart all around you. And now I want you to imagine that this white waterfall turns to green light. A beautiful green light. And this is now a waterfall of unconditional love. Allow it to bathe you and saturate you. Encompassing you within its glow. Any hurts that you felt, any pain that you felt, allow this green waterfall of light, of unconditional love, to heal those spaces, to heal you. Just feel loved. Know that you are loved. You don't need to earn love. You are loved. You're loved by an infinite source from where you come. You created in love, through love, and from love. Feel that love. Feel that flow of universal love and energy. Just remember that you are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve to be happy. You deserve abundance. You deserve prosperity. You deserve to have wonderful, authentic relationships and feel safe to express yourself with emotional honesty. You deserve peace. And now, as you just relax, I want you to step out of the waterfall. And as you step out, just feel how clear your energy field feels now and how much calmer you may feel. And now that we've reset your mind and your body, let's set your intention for the month ahead, the month of June. I want you to tune in now to your inner wisdom. You have inner wisdom. Call it your intuition, call it your higher self, call it what you will. There is some inner guidance in your life from which you can tap in. And this higher self, this inner wisdom, intuitively knows what is best for you. I'm going to ask you a question now. I don't want you to think. I just want you to write down your first impressions. Do not analyze anything. Do not read what you've written. Just write it down and close your eyes again. Write it down, close your eyes. Just a quick answer, 1 or 2 or 3 words, nothing major. The first question: what do I need to focus on for the month of June? Just your first impression. And then take a breath, relax, keep your eyes closed. Next question: what steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to do, or what I want to be, or what I want to have? What steps do I need to take? Write down your first impressions. Next question. Thinking about tonight's lesson perhaps, or anything at all. The next question is, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? Just your first impression. And then also maybe thinking about tonight's lesson, or maybe anything at all. The next question is, what do I need to embrace? What do I need to embrace? And lastly, just to make sure we cover anything off, just ask yourself, your intuition, is there anything else I need to know? Is there anything else I need to do maybe? Just, is there anything else? Any other wisdom for you for now? And then take a nice slow deep breath. Have a nice big stretch. And at the count of 3, you can open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes, wide awake, feeling fine, in perfect health, feeling better than before. All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that quick meditation. And if you got an answer, just give me a thumbs up or give me a reaction from your menu bar. Anyone get any answers that are potentially helpful? I see some thumbs. Thank you, Andrew. Hello, Andrew and Christy. Welcome. Nice to see the two of you. Beautiful. Some more thumbs up. Okay, great. You got some answers. Wonderful. All I want to say about your answers is trust them. Trust answers that you get in a relaxed state. They are always truthful for you. And the least thing to trust is your logical brain. I know that might sound funny. Jose Silva used to say, if you make decisions with your logic or your left brain, they will be wrong. And if you don't believe him, he said, give it time. But if you make decisions with your right brain or your intuition, you'll be correct every single time. So, good reminder there. All right, everyone. Does anyone have any questions for me? You're welcome to ask me now. I'll just see what's in the chat box so far. Otherwise, you may have a wonderful night. Thank you for the thumbs up. And have a wonderful month ahead. Keep warm, keep well, practice authenticity, meditate daily. And if you need anything, I'm here. Please, if you haven't registered for Think and Grow Rich and you think you'd like to do it, I mean, I don't see why not. It costs you nothing but your time. It's one of the most amazing personal development books on the planet. But it's terrible to just read. You got to study the book, and then you'll love it. You'll love it with a whole different level of awareness. So join me. I'll be teaching it from another level of awareness. Even for myself, I'm saying that. I've taught Think and Grow Rich, I don't know, every year, sometimes twice a year for years now, since 2017 maybe, 18 at the latest. And this is the best so far. So join. It's not a mastermind like you've done with me if you've done it before, where you come 10 of you. This is a master class. I'm doing a teaching. So please join. It's really about getting the book's 13 principles to click together for you as one philosophy. And it took me about reading the book 4 times, studying the book, not reading, studying it about 3 to 4 times before that philosophy clicked. And now it's one philosophy. You can't understand, how does faith and desire and sex transmutation and the brain and the sixth sense and organized planning and specialized knowledge, how does that become one? Well, if you teach it in the right way, we get it from a level of awareness in the right way, it clicks. And once that clicks for you, it helps you in every area of your life. So if you want to join, please do. And otherwise, guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, I'm going to stop the recording. Have a wonderful month ahead. I'll see you in the beginning of July.
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Mike.
Jeanine.
Thanks, everyone.